Welcome to South Korea. This is the view from our Airbnb. I'm just about to go on a walk around our neighborhood here. This is central Seoul, an area called Jonggu. Might be mispronouncing that. It's near Myeongdong, which is a famous shopping district. Alright, so this is the place that we're staying at. It's called Central View Suite Namsan. It's interesting because it's not really a hotel so much. It's partly a hotel, but also has a bunch of Airbnb companies here that have many different rooms. And it's also got like a little restaurant below and a convenience store. So we're staying with an Airbnb at this place because I mostly prefer Airbnbs rather than hotels. I know that people often hate on Airbnb, but I find that it's the only option, really, when it comes to finding a place that has a kitchen and a washing machine, you know? I think those are necessities. Anyway, this is our street. Plenty of restaurants in this street. Plenty of foreigners in that hotel, that's why I'm talking about it. It's a very popular one, which you'll see in other vlogs as well. Convenience stores all over the place. There was one under the hotel, there's one right here, and most of these places work 24 hours. That's something that I really appreciate about Asian countries. They have these 24-hour convenience stores, easy to get food any time of the day. This cafe, called Cha, is a very large cafe. Sometimes my girlfriend and I would come here to do some work during the day. It's so loud today. It's not usually this loud. Anyway, as I was saying, that cafe over there is huge, and the culture here in Korea and in Japan, I found, is that it's very acceptable to come and work in a cafe for several hours. What I do is web development, by the way. I'm a freelance web developer. And yeah, this area is very close to Seoul Tower, otherwise known as Namsan Tower locally. I don't think they really call it Seoul Tower. You'll see it in just a moment. I'm working towards a park, or like an old village recreation, basically. A historical area that is at the foot of the hill. And then as you keep going uphill, you can walk all the way up to Seoul Tower. And that area is really nice at night as well. There's a well-lit road going all the way up to the tower, and there's always people jogging there at night or in the evening, 8 or 9 p.m. I mean, running clubs. I've never seen so many of them. They're always running past, like groups of 10 to 15 people, just running by you every minute or so. There must be hundreds of joggers up there every night on this mountain. And yeah, Seoul is much more mountainous, hilly than I imagined before coming here. I have to admit, I didn't know much about Korea before coming here. This is funny. These motorcycles, these delivery drivers. It reminds me of something very like Southeast Asian and a little bit like undeveloped countries. Well, Korea is so developed in most ways, so futuristic in many ways. Here is the entrance to the subway, Chungmuro subway station. It's really nice in Korea. There's subway stations everywhere. Like the network is very dense. I hope it gets a bit quieter here. The weather is 30 degrees Celsius. That's what, like 100 degrees Fahrenheit, I think. It's hot, okay? It's a hot summer day, although it's cloudy, so it's not as bad as it was a week ago. It was like 35 a week ago. Impossible to be outdoors, but right now there's a bit of wind and it's nice. Some kind of protest or like, yeah, loudspeakers over there. Something political maybe. I really like these new Hyundais. All the taxis are this very modern looking hybrid or electric Hyundai Sonata, I believe. Yeah, Sonata. They're everywhere, those Hyundais. And all the cars are quite new generally. As I was saying, Korea is like very modern, especially compared to Japan. I felt like, you know, people say that Japan is both futuristic and retro at the same time. Well, Korea, while having these traditional places, as I'm showing you now, it's mostly very modern. They really, I think they embrace modernity and embrace progress much more than Japanese. Japanese tend to keep things very old school. And this is Namsangol Hanok village. Bit of a touristy area. So it's a recreation of a traditional village. Not a recreation, it is a real one, but it was located in a different part of the city. And then they've moved it here and made it a historical area. It's cool. They also have this time capsule up here. That's a time capsule that will be opened in 300 years. It was made in the 1990s. And it's got a bunch of like Korean cultural artifacts and things. And they'll open that in 300 years from now. Really a nice area, nice garden. I love these types of gardens that you find all over Asia pretty much. Although every country has its own flavor, its own take on it. They're all influenced by Buddhism, of course, and by local religions. Seoul Tower, or Namsan Tower up there. I love these trees. This is a type of pine or cypress, but it's a specific type. Seoul Namsangol Hanok village. And I'm not even sure if you can hear me now because the cicadas are so loud. Yeah, I've heard cicadas in Australia, but the Asian cicadas are extremely loud. These pagodas here, you can come and chill here, you can lay down. The ground is clean because, as you can see, you have to take your shoes off. Take your shoes off and relax. I come here at night as well to run. They don't close the doors or anything. I do some uphill runs all the way up this winding path. It's really nice. I'm really hoping that I can find a nice and quiet spot where I can sit down and talk a little bit about, you know, living as a digital nomad here in South Korea. Lovely waterfall here. You can't see this at night. I come here at night mostly. It's still super loud here with cicadas. See if I can sit on this pagoda at the top of these stairs. Take my shoes off. Let's go up here. This looks like a residential building with a cafe under it. It's nice. Cafes everywhere here in South Korea. Cafes and gyms. Alright, you know what? Let's exit the park probably, because I don't think I'm gonna escape the cicadas. Best I can hope for is a quiet street. Alright, let's walk down this street and see what's here. It's actually pretty chill. Oh, there's a dog there. Hello. My God, even on this quiet street, it's loud. I guess that's just how it is in Seoul on a weekday, right? Walking around during the day, people are busy, they got stuff to do. Puri culture. They do everything fast, they do everything efficiently in Korea. And without the various pleasantries of Japanese people, you know, Koreans won't slow down for the sake of politeness or for the sake of ritual, I think, in most cases. I mean, this is obviously a generalization, but yeah, they're definitely much more rushed, in my opinion. And obviously all of East Asia is more rushed and fast-paced than Southeast Asia. You know, I'm not even comparing countries like Thailand. But yeah, getting back to it, South Korea for digital nomads, first of all, the language barrier, it barely exists. I'm very impressed with how much English is understood and spoken here in South Korea, because in Japan that was a huge problem. Even though I'm learning Japanese, I'm able to, you know, use some phrases in my day-to-day life. I was worried about Korea because I don't know any Korean really, except like hello and thank you. But that's not a problem at all. The level is so much, the English, there's so much more English here compared to Japan. I would say that like 50% of young people speak English quite well, quite fluently. So that's not an issue at all, I would say. If you're worried about language, don't be worried. Come to Korea. Now when it comes to costs, of course, Korea, Japan, even Taiwan, well, they're not the cheapest countries, especially when you're comparing to the more popular digital nomad destinations like Thailand or Vietnam. I would say that around 2,000 USD a month is what you should budget for something like an Airbnb or a hotel room, you know, a private one, not like sharing or anything like that. Because you know, I have a girlfriend, so as a couple, we want our own space, yeah. Otherwise, maybe I'd stay at share houses and things. Look at this crazy motorcycle converted into a trailer. So around 2,000 USD a month on accommodation. And then for meals, you can probably budget around $10 USD for a regular meal. I'm not talking about fancy restaurants, you know. Obviously, Seoul, very developed city, there's a wide range. I mean, you can find probably very fancy restaurants in fancy areas like Gangnam, but here, or like in most regular areas, you'll easily find places to eat for around 10 USD, around like 10 to 15,000 Korean won. And those are your main expenses. To get around, you'll probably be using the subway. The infrastructure here in Seoul is really good. Just catch the subway everywhere. Subway costs around 1,500 won for a trip to most parts of Seoul, I think. And another quick note on meals is that if you're not eating out all the time, then you can eat cheaper for sure. Although I find it difficult in our area at least to find groceries or any inner city area here. I think Koreans eat out a lot. They also buy a lot of pre-packaged meals or like semi-processed foods. Because I've found it quite difficult to find fresh fruits and vegetables and fresh meat and things in grocery stores around here, because mostly it's just convenience stores around the central area. I actually don't have a large proper grocery supermarket within 15 to 20 minutes walk from our Airbnb. There's nothing. There's only convenience stores. Oh, this is really nice, these jackets with fans built into them. So I'm in some kind of industrial area, as you can see. This isn't the nicest or most modern area of Seoul. I'm just showing you, you know, what it is. I actually haven't been down this street at all. That's a police car. It's also the Hyundai. Golf seems to be popular here in Korea. Yeah, so this is an older area of Seoul, I think. I mean, it's the central area, right, which tends to be older. As you go further out, the suburbs are newer. Across the river, on the south side of the river, is Gangnam, which is a very nice modern area. I like the bikes around here. There's some very nice motorcycles. Yeah, Gangnam, from the song Gangnam Style, right, is an area where you find all of the fashion, the restaurants, the plastic surgery, right, the glitzy and glamorous part of Seoul. All right, we're back on the street where I'm living, Chungmuro Street. I think Ro Main Street. So Chungmo Street or Chungmuro. There are plenty of restaurants around this street and around Seoul generally. One of the things I love about all Asian countries is that eating out is much more normal and much more a daily thing compared to Western countries where it's more of a special occasion, right? People eat out here like every day almost, and usually when you meet up with your friends, it wouldn't be at your house or someone's house. It would be in a bar or a restaurant, and that's why there's so many restaurants and places to eat out. Very developed food culture, because they've made it affordable to eat out. It's much more affordable, not just for us, not just for people with a Western salary, but for everyone. It's affordable thing to do, to eat out, to go and meet your friends somewhere, to drink, right? Alcohol is also cheaper, whereas I think in many Western countries, if you're somewhat budget conscious, you tend to avoid eating out, especially these days, these past 2 or 3 years, right? People have become more frugal. I think eating out daily is sort of a rich person's thing in the West, whereas here it's quite normal. They make it cheap because they have made it efficient. The entire process of ordering food, of making the food, and the types of food on offer are less of a restaurant experience, you know, like that French, Italian influenced restaurant thing. More just a buffet or a bistro type. Alright, I'll probably continue this video later. Alright, this video is obviously a bit disorganized. I'm just so distracted because of how loud it is. I can't find a quiet place to record. But at least I showed you the neighborhood, right? See you next time.